क्योंकि वो एक पर्सन के लिए थे ना, कॉन्टेक्चुअल थे, तो वही 4 वर्च्यूज जो अपन ने लिखे थे, करेज, विजडम, जस्टिस, टेम्परेंस। तो दैट ऑल्सो डिटरमाइंस द एथिक्स. वर्चुअस पर्सन ऑल्सो विल कम अंडर. कौन क्या आएगा? सिचुएशन. सॉरी क्या बोला आपने?
सिचुएशन आएगी इस वाले कॉन्टेक्स्ट में.
कौन सी सिचुएशन, थोड़ा इलैबोरेट करो.
एनी सिचुएशन वेयर अ पर्सन हैज टू मेक डिसीजन.
हाँ, बट कौन सा एथिकल एस्पेक्ट आप एम्फसाइज करना चाहते हो? हाँ, कर सकते हो, नो इश्यूज. द आइडिया इज कि वी आर शोइंग हाउ इट डिटरमाइंस आवर एथिक्स. तो बेसिक डिटर्मिनेंट्स ऑफ एथिक्स ये 3 है: स्थान, काल, पात्र. और कोई डिटर्मिनेंट्स आप सोच सकते हैं? एसेंशियली देखो यही 3 होते हैं, बिकॉज जितने भी आप बाकी सब सोचोगे ना, वो इन 3 कैटेगरीज के अंदर आप एडजस्ट कर सकते हो. एनवायरमेंटल एथिक्स, राइट. हो सकता है एनवायरमेंटल एथिक्स को एक टाइम पे उतनी वैल्यू नहीं दी जाती थी जब डेवलपमेंट बहुत एसेंशियल था, या डेवलपमेंट पे ज़्यादा एम्फेसिस था. आज भी है, बट एक टाइम जब लेट्स से इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन के टाइम पे इन द 18th सेंचुरी, तब एनवायरमेंटल एथिक्स को इतना एम्फेसाइज नहीं किया गया. सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट अब आया है ब्रटलैंड रिपोर्ट के बाद. अगेन काल. So this is basically our determinants of ethics, right? Okay. पर्सन समझ लो आप. एक पर्सन के लिए क्या वर्चुअस हो सकता है, क्या उसके एथिक्स हो सकते हैं, क्या उसके मॉरल्स हो सकते हैं, ये पर्सन टू पर्सन वेरी करेगा. फॉर मी लेट्स से इंटरकास्ट मैरिज इज मॉरली करेक्ट, बट एथिकली हो सकता है, या किसी और के लिए भी वो मॉरली इनकरेक्ट हो सकता है. तो वो डिटरमाइन कर रहा है हमारे एथिक्स को, राइट. पर्सन टू पर्सन चीज़ें चेंज हो रही है.
तो पर्सन डिटरमाइन कर रहा है.
हाँ, पर्सन की इन्फ्लुएंस, ये जो अपन डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ये बेसिक ये है कि क्या चीज़ें इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहे हैं हमारे एथिक्स को. आजकल इन्फ्लुएंसर टर्म के हिसाब से सोचा जाए तो वो ठीक है. हाँ, कर सकते हो आप. एग्जाम में स्थान, काल, पात्र लिख सकते हो. बस ब्रैकेट में चाहो तो प्लेस, टाइम, पर्सन ऐसे मेंशन कर दो. अनटचेबिलिटी, ठीक है. मैं शॉर्ट हैंड में कुछ नहीं समझ में आए तो आप मेरे से पूछ सकते हो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, राइट. स्लेवरी इन यूएसए इज ऑल्सो अ टाइम का. पहले स्लेवरी प्रेवलेंट थी, राइट, बट विद टाइम स्लेवरी अबॉलिश करी गई है. प्लेस, वेस्टर्न अगर सोसाइटी की बात, वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज़ की बात करें तो वहाँ पे इंडिविजुअल मोरालिटी या इंडिविजुअल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ पीपल वे हायर देन द सोसाइटी. लाइक दे विल प्रेफर इंडिविजुअलिस्टिक ओरिएंटेड थिंग्स ओवर सोसाइटल. जैसे यहाँ पे अपन ने विभीषण का केस डिस्कस किया, राइट, कि फैमिली ओरिएंटेड. द सोल रीजन ऑफ नॉट नेमिंग अ चाइल्ड as Vibhishan is because that person betrayed his family. Maybe in a Western society उसका कोई फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि they do not consider family as a close knit feature of their society. Indian society में आपने पढ़ा होगा features of Indian society, right? Salient features of Indian society. उसके अंदर एक चीज़ हम पढ़ते हैं family. तो वही है बात, right? Clear? सोच सकते हो आप, बताओ मेरे को कोई सोच के. कामाख्या टेम्पल के बारे में जानते हैं? कामाख्या टेम्पल के अंदर बलि चढ़ाई जाती है, एनिमल सैक्रिफाइस, राइट. थोड़ी देर पहले क्लास में अपन ने काउ स्लॉटर के ऊपर बैन डिस्कस किया था. वहाँ पे बलि चढ़ाई जा रही है, एनिमल सैक्रिफाइस हो रहा है. प्लेस से चेंज हो गया एथिक्स आपका. दैट्स हाउ इट डिटरमाइंस एथिक्स. क्यों वो टेम्पल इज स्पेसिफिकली इन असम फॉर अ सेलेक्ट ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल फॉर दैट कम्युनिटी हु फॉलो इट, राइट? ओके, now the question is, why should we study ethics? Any idea?
To apply it in life and make better decisions.
Okay. How can you make better decisions through ethics? And आप बता सकते हैं?
By knowing what is right and wrong.
Hmm.
Awareness,
Rationally thinking.
rational thinking.
What else? क्या हमारे डिसीजन मेकिंग में फिर एक मॉरल कंपस भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाएगा? We will be more sensitive towards a lot of other things. Maybe, let's say you are the director of a company or you are in the management of a company. Till the time you do not study ethics, or you are not very compliant with the morals of being a sensitive person per se, you might not consider LGBTQ issues as real issues, let's say. But once you study from the ethical perspective, you realize its importance, and a moral compass comes into your decision making, that morally, as a leader, as a decision making person, it would be wrong for me to, let's say, not provide washrooms compatible with this issue. Or if people want separate washrooms for some people, yeah, to be segregated in some way, right? So that's why in decision making, ethics plays a role.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes, emotional intelligence will also affect your decision making. What else? Does it also help us understand the point of view of others? कोई example? Any example? कोई भी या basic है ये तो. How do I become empathetic?
Situation समझने.
एम्पैथी अपन किसे कहते हैं? जब अपन सामने वाले का पर्सपेक्टिव समझते हैं, तो सामने वाले का पर्सपेक्टिव भी अपन तब समझ पाएंगे जब अपन एक मॉरली एनलाइटेंड या अवेयर पर्सन होंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस, राइट? कई लोग दे आर अगेंस्ट इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस. मे बी दे आर नॉट एबल टू एम्पथाइज विद दैट couple who wants to live together or make a life together, right? So if they study ethics, or if they are aware about ethics, it will become easier for them to empathize with others, to understand someone else's perspective, right? So that is another reason why we kind of should study ethics. Okay, I'll just points discuss कर चुके हैं. First was decision making, and what did we discuss next? POV of others. Okay. How else can it help us?
Behavior change.
Okay, behavior change. It can help us become a basic good person, in the sense that it will bring fairness, honesty, and the traits which are valued in the society, right? And it also makes society stable. Right? It helps in continuation of society. But what are the areas where studying ethics is not helpful, or it hardly makes a difference? कैन यू थिंक ऑफ दैट? किसके अकॉर्डिंग? कैसे भी बता सकते हो. आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग हाउ स्टडीइंग एथिक्स इज नॉट हेल्पफुल, या कहाँ पे वो अपने को कुछ हेल्प नहीं कर पा रहा है. कोई लिमिटेशंस है क्या स्टडीइंग एथिक्स के?
हेल्पफुल तो तब नहीं है जब मोरल वैल्यूज सुपीरियर हो जाए एथिक्स के ऊपर.
ओके, यानी कि आप कह रहे हो कि कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग सिचुएशन के अंदर थोड़ा हेल्पफुल नहीं है हाँ, ठीक है, कह सकते हो. ऑल्सो क्या स्टडीइंग एथिक्स के लिमिटेशन एक ये भी है कि यू कैन नॉट ऑलवेज इम्प्लीमेंट इट इन डिसीजन मेकिंग. इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कैन बी अ डिफिकल्ट.
Everybody is not ethically sound.
Yeah, everybody is not that, and a lot of corporate decisions, most of the corporate decisions are based on the fact to increase profits. तो हो सकता है उसके अंदर आप ethical aspects ignore कर दो या implement ना कर पाओ चाहते हुए भी, right? वो अपने फिर business ethics में discuss करेंगे अपन और detail में, but yeah, briefly. तो उसका implementation एक limitation है. तो even if I'm studying ethics, I cannot really implement it. क्या वेग लैंग्वेज, क्योंकि अगेन एथिक्स ऐसा इन सोसाइटी इट इज नॉट कोडिफाइड. ये बस हमने क्या डिफाइन किया था, सोशली एक्सेप्टेबल नॉर्म्स. सोशली एक्सेप्टेबल कोई डिफाइंड तो है नहीं है क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा, बस तो वेग है टर्म. हो सकता है हम 10 जने इस रूम में बैठे हैं, हम भी एक पार्ट ऑफ सोसाइटी है, हमारे लिए ये एक्सेप्टेबल है, बट दूसरे रूम में 10 जने जो बैठे हैं उनके लिए वो एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है. तो दैट्स वाई वेग लैंग्वेज बिकम्स एन इशू. और एथिक्स के तौर पे हमें एक चीज़ के कई आंसर्स मिल सकते हैं, मल्टीपल आंसर्स. दैट्स वाई वो डिसीजन मेकिंग को कंफ्यूजिंग कर देते हैं, राइट? दैट्स वाई वी टॉक अबाउट एथिकल डिलेमास. हाँ, एथिकल क्लैश डेफिनेटली, मल्टीपल आंसर्स, इसीलिए से अपन एथिकल क्लैश कह रहे हैं या डिलेमा कह रहे हैं, कुछ भी. तो एंड ऑल्सो पीपल आर गाइडेड बाय इमोशंस. तो उसके अंदर अगर आप थ्योरेटिकली एथिक्स पढ़ा भी दो या पढ़ भी लो तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो आपके डिसीजन मेकिंग में या इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में आ सके, बिकॉज पीपल आर गाइडेड बाय इमोशंस. तो उस एस्पेक्ट में भी इट डज नॉट हेल्प. ठीक है. So this was about why should we kind of study ethics and how it helps and how it does not help.
वेग लैंग्वेज को वापस बताओ.
See, weak language क्योंकि ये defined नहीं है. We से जो भी ज़्यादा लोगों ने बोल दिया वही societally acceptable हो जाता है और वही prevalent हो जाता है. कुछ लिखा तो है नहीं. अगर आप किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन में हो, उस इंस्टीट्यूशन का मे बी कोडिफाइड हो, वो कोड ऑफ एथिक्स होगा, कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट होगा, बट इन जनरल एज जस्ट सम ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हमारे पास कोई रिटन वो नहीं है. दैट्स अ वेग है. हो सकता है किन्हीं लोगों के लिए कुछ एथिकल होगा, किन्हीं और लोगों के लिए कुछ वो चीज़ एथिकल नहीं होगी या उनके लिए कुछ और एथिकल होगा, राइट? ओके. अच्छा, is it possible to be ethical without studying ethics? Yes. How? Okay.
Societal values, religious values.
Okay.
इंट्यूशन.
ओके. तो बेसिकली बिना पढ़े भी कोई एथिकल हो सकता है, तो फिर क्यों पढ़ना है एथिक्स? तो जब सबको पता ही है अंदर से ही, या मतलब इन जनरल पता है, तो फिर क्यों पढ़े एथिक्स? ठीक ठीक है नो इश्यूज, वो उस पे सिलेबस में है. We have to study ethics because it helps in ethical analysis.
हम एथिक्स देखते थे हमारे पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, दूसरे के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखेंगे.
Absolutely, absolutely. हाँ, definitely. That's why we are studying ethics because हम ethical होते हैं as human beings to a certain extent, but when we are involved in decision making, so we have to keep a lot of other things in mind also. That's why it needs ethical analysis. That's why UPSC is asking you to solve case studies. Got it? So for this reason, it becomes slightly important to kind of, जब भी ethical dilemmas होते हैं ना, तो यही ethical analysis आपका काम आता है decision making में. तो yeah. Okay. तो अपन कुछ cases discuss कर लेते हैं. एक केस डिस्कस करते हैं, एडवांसेस इन साइंस एंड टेक. ये जो लेट्स से अभी आजकल सोशल मीडिया है आपका,
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस.
हाँ, ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स, मेटावर्स, सब कुछ जो भी साइंस एंड टेक में डेवलपमेंट्स हो रहे हैं, उसके एथिकल एस्पेक्ट्स क्या है, क्या हो सकते हैं बताओ.
प्राइवेसी हिंडर हो रही है.
एक एक करके. प्राइवेसी हिंडर हो रही है,
पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव दोनों है,
दोनों हैं.
एनवायरनमेंट को अफेक्ट करना.
ठीक है, ओके. एक आप अगर बिजनेस के पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचें, जैसे सोशल मीडिया के लिए, तो क्या कस्टमर्स ही प्रोडक्ट्स सोल्ड है? कस्टमर्स आर प्रोडक्ट्स सोल्ड देमसेल्व्स. व्हाई? आज आप इंस्टाग्राम स्क्रॉल करते हैं, वी आर नॉट पेइंग एनीथिंग टू डू इट, बट इंस्टाग्राम इज मेकिंग प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट. Because the more number of consumers who start scrolling, for them each of them are products sold, right? So that's why they are treating consumers as products. That is some ethical issue with this, because consumers are human beings. You cannot consider human beings as products, क्योंकि eventually फिर आपके business में अगर आप human beings को product की तरह consider करने लग गए, तो आप उनके ethical considerations को, उनके ethical issues को sideline करते जाओगे, right? So that becomes an issue. Again, they are not willing to take responsibility. Responsibility of what? Responsibility of the content on their platforms. Sold. Product sold. So they are not willing to take responsibility of the content. हो सकता है उनके content से बहुत ज़्यादा polarization हो रहा हो. Polarization क्या होता है?
अलग-अलग ग्रुप में डिवाइड हो जाना.
और सही है. बेसिकली एक्सट्रीमिस्ट आइडियोलॉजीज फॉलो करने लगना, ग्रुप्स बाइफरकेट हो जाना, एक आइडियोलॉजी के पीछे एक पोलराइज, दो पोल्स हो गए या मल्टीपल पोल्स हो गए, और उनके आगे उनके सराउंडिंग्स में लोग बढ़ते गए, पोलराइजेशन. तो दिस कैन लीड टू पोलराइजेशन विच दे आर नॉट विलिंग टू टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ. सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू, इंस्टाग्राम के थ्रू पोस्ट शेयर हो रही हैं या टेलीग्राम के थ्रू चीज़ें शेयर हो रही हैं, और उससे बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरनेट एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स, availability of content has become very convenient on the tap of a button, right? That means content easily available है, तो और अगर कोई content ऐसा है जो कि polarizing है, radicalizing है, तो उससे आपके सोसाइटी के लिए पोलराइजेशन का इशू बढ़ जाता है, which sort of the people who are running this are not willing to take responsibility of.
कैसे हो रहेगा वापस बता दो पोलराइजेशन कंटेंट.
ओके ठीक है. लेट्स से कि एक पोस्ट किसी ने फ्रेम किया है विच हैज़ offensive content for a certain group of people, maybe. Okay, now this content reaches everyone from that group जिसके अगेंस्ट ये लिखा गया है. ठीक है, लेट्स से ये किसी ग्रुप ए के इंसान ने लिखा है अगेंस्ट ग्रुप बी. तो ये जब ग्रुप बी के सारे लोगों के पास पहुंचेगा और वो ये देखेंगे कि यार ग्रुप ए ने तो हमारे अगेंस्ट इतना ऑफेंसिव चीज़ लिख दिया है, ये सब इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे अगेंस्ट हुम, ग्रुप ए. और ये फिर कुछ लिखेंगे या नहीं लिखेंगे या कुछ एक्ट अपॉन करेंगे. फिर ग्रुप ए वाले इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे कि ये हमारे अगेंस्ट हो गया या कुछ. पोलराइज होते हुए दिख रही है सोसाइटी. दिस इज पोलराइजेशन. तो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट ये कंटेंट था, लेट से इंस्टिगेट किया या उसको प्रोपेल किया, तो इसलिए पोलराइजेशन. राइट, आई होप दैट्स क्लियर. ओके, तो जब ये पोलराइजेशन होगा, इसका एक फॉर्म वायलेंस भी हो सकता है. तो दिस थिंग कैन एक्चुअली प्रमोट वायलेंस. मॉब लिंचिंग एग्जाम्पल ले सकते हैं. राइट, वायलेंस बढ़ेगा सोसाइटी में. जिस अगेन these are the ethical issues we are discussing, the techno-economic problems with respect to advances in science and tech या social media के लिए. Okay. Again, someone mentioned right to privacy. Definitely. Digital divide again polarization के साथ लिख सकते हैं. हाँ, that will come under one of the issues of मतलब इंटरनेट या डिजिटल बेस्ड सोसाइटी. इसमें भी लिख सकते हो, नो इश्यूज. जो जो आपको ये सब आ रहे हैं ध्यान, साइबर फ्रॉड्स, ऑल दोज. तो राइट टू प्रिवेसी, राइट टू बी फॉरगॉटन. राइट टू बी फॉरगॉटन क्या होता है? राइट टू प्रिवेसी तो सबको पता है. Definitely. I have a right to remove my data from any website or any platform जहाँ पे मैंने एक टाइम पे लेट से अपना डेटा एंटर भी किया हो, but I don't want that to exist now. So I should have this opportunity and this right to be forgotten from that platform. तो right to privacy तो कौन से जजमेंट से, सॉरी कुछ पूछना? लीगली मतलब इट्स नॉट एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशन्ड. अभी जो एक डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल आया था ना कुछ टाइम पहले, डेटा अभी वो एक्ट में कन्वर्ट नहीं हुआ था, डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल था, उसके अंदर था मेंशन राइट टू बी फॉरगॉटन का. हाँ हाँ, राइट टू प्रिवेसी तो जैसे आर्टिकल 21 के अंडर आता है एज पर के एस पुट्टास्वामी जजमेंट. आप सबने पढ़ा होगा तो या. अच्छा, ये सारी चीज़ें ऐसे आपको लिखनी है आपके आंसर्स में. अगर आप कहीं पे राइट टू प्रिवेसी लिख रहे हो, जस्ट ब्रैकेट में इफ़ यू पुट आर्टिकल 21 के एस पुट्टास्वामी जजमेंट, योर आंसर becomes more valuable and you get more marks for it. Okay, anyway, हाँ, तो certain issues अपन ने देखे. आप लोगों ने डिजिटल डिवाइड, डिजिटल अरेस्ट, क्राइम सब मेंशन किया, सब अपन इसके अंदर लिख सकते हैं. डेटा लीक्स वो भी एक इशू है. डेटा लीक्स, तो ये कुछ आपको इश्यूज दिमाग में रखने हैं और जो सोशल मीडिया से रिलेटेड है एसेंशियली. ओके, दूसरा ये अपने सोशल मीडिया डिस्कस किया है. ओके, नेक्स्ट लेट्स डिस्कस ई कॉमर्स. issues related to social media, ethical issues. ठीक है. Next, let us discuss some ethical issues with e-commerce. क्या हो सकते हैं ethical issues e-commerce के लिए? सोचो, ई-कॉमर्स क्या होता है? हाँ हाँ सही, एब्सोल्युटली. ठीक है, स्कैम्स. इसके अलावा मोनोपोलिस्टिक बिजनेस है क्या? कैसे मोनोपोलिस्टिक? क्या अमेजोन ने मार्केट कैप्चर कर लिया है पूरी तरीके से? ऑलमोस्ट अमेजोन है, फ्लिपकार्ट है, ज़्यादातर ई कॉमर्स के अंदर बात करें तो मोनोपोली काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन डेवलप हो रही है. तो क्या ये मोनोपोलिस्टिक बिजनेस हो गए? एक और इशू है डीप डिस्काउंटिंग. डीप डिस्काउंटिंग क्या होते हैं? ह्यूज डिस्काउंट्स. आपने कई बार नोटिस करा होगा कि ऑनलाइन चीज़ें ज़्यादा सस्ती मिल रही है ऑफलाइन से. डीप डिस्काउंटिंग. मार्केट डिस्टॉर्ट करता है ये. एथिकल इशू हो गया अपने लिए. आप लिख सकते हो मार्केट डिस्टॉर्शन. क्योंकि अगर आप कुछ कंज्यूमर्स को लेने के लिए बियॉन्ड मार्केट प्रिंसिपल्स या मतलब मार्केट सिनेरियो के अगेंस्ट जाके ह्यूज डिस्काउंट्स देते हो तो उसे एथिकली रॉन्ग माना जाता है. आपने अगर कंपटीशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में पढ़ा है, कंपटीशन कमीशन एक्ट है. क्यों है? क्योंकि कंपटीशन जो है मार्केट में उसको भी आपको एक एथिकल तरीके से करना है. You can't just do there's another, I was going to come to this, predatory pricing. Predatory pricing क्या है? कि आपने प्राइसेस ऐसे रखे हैं कि लोग आएंगे ही आएंगे. जब जियो लॉन्च हुआ था फ्री में सिम्स थे. That's under predatory pricing, deep discounting, ethical issues, market wise. बाकी businesses के लिए it is wrong or not? Right? That's why it becomes an ethical issue. Predatory. Predatory. Predatory pricing. Predatory मतलब कैप मतलब प्रेडेटर प्रे का कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, वही. ओके हाँ. तो अब ये है कि दिस थिंग माइट बी लीगली करेक्ट. लीगली हो सकता है कोई इशू ना हो, but it is not sustainable. जियो ने भी फिर इवेंचुअली पैसे लेने शुरू कर दिए ना. एंड नॉट जस्ट सस्टेनेबल, इट इज नॉट एथिकली सस्टेनेबल. Because at the end of the day, market is formed by multiple players. All of this is this also comes under business ethics. This part which we are discussing, it is business ethics. फिर ई-कॉमर्स के कुछ environmental aspects भी हैं, right? वो डिस्कस करते हैं. क्या ये environmentally sustainable है? तब for every parcel that is coming we have packaging material. So much of packaging material, so much of impact on environment. Hardly it is being recycled or reused. So that becomes the environmental cost of business कह लो या packaging कह लो. Right? There is an environmental cost associated with it. ई-वेस्ट जनरेट हो रहा है. ई-वेस्ट क्या होता है? हाँ वो तो पता है. वैसे क्या होता है?
devices, electronic devices.
Definitely, right? तो e-waste generation बढ़ते जा रहा है because the more e-commerce will come, obviously more digital सब कुछ कैसे survive करेगा based on these electronic devices. So of course e-waste generation will increase. Plastic pollution बढ़ेगा. Plastic pollution होगा, metallic contamination होगा. मेटालिक कंटामिनेशन क्या होता है, कोई आइडिया दे सकता है?
Reverse में metals low कर दिया.
काइंड ऑफ या
Arsenic, lead, uranium.
पंजाब में ग्राउंड वाटर इज कंटामिनेटेड इनॉर्मसली बाय यूरेनियम. इशू कहाँ से आ रहा है? ई वेस्ट से, मतलब नॉट डायरेक्टली यूरेनियम बट अदर मेटेलिक थिंग्स लाइक लेड, आर्सेनिक. आर्सेनिक कॉजेज इटाई डिजीज, right? Okay. So this is also vehicles are being used for delivery. Door to door delivery we have. Now we have quick commerce, not just e-commerce. We have now come to quick commerce. 10 minutes में delivery. कितना pollution generate हो रहा है? इमीडिएट ब्रेड मंगाई है तुरंत आ गई, लेकिन उसके पीछे उससे ज़्यादा कार्बन एमिशंस हो गए. कौन अकाउंट करेगा इनके लिए?
खुद खरीदने जाएंगे जब तो vehicle से use करेंगे.
पैदल भी तो जा सकते हैं.
पास में तो delivery का हमारे पास में.
हाँ, द आइडिया इज ना कि आप कितना, थिंक ऑफ इट इन एट अ लार्जर लेवल. थिंक ऑफ इट एट अ लार्जर लेवल, एट अ सोसाइटल लेवल. ओके, तो व्हीकल्स आर बीइंग यूज्ड. हालांकि नाउ वी आर ट्राइंग टू प्रमोट फॉर ई व्हीकल्स. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस इज एनवायरमेंटल एथिक्स. मतलब वी आर डिस्कसिंग ई कॉमर्स के एथिक्स, एथिकल इश्यूज. उसके अंदर सब पार्ट्स में you can think. This is a way for you to think, right? It's not necessary that you will remember these points while you are writing your test or exam. So what you have to develop is the way of thinking. So that's why. इसके लिए, for example, e-waste generation, you can write examples also that Zomato, now it asks you to, do you want cutlery or not? Right? So we have an option to reduce our carbon footprint. We have an option to reduce our waste. So cutlery option you can write. Amazon is now clubbing multiple orders together. For example, if you are ordering 4 things, Amazon will try to send it all at once in one big package to cut down on packaging material. Right? So these are the steps which are kind of being taken for this. Okay. Now, can I change? Right. So let's discuss ethical issues involved with gig economy. What is gig economy? Sorry? Absolutely. So these are not permanent jobs. Freelancing, it's contractual basis, like for that particular gig you are involved in that business. So it is paid for micro tasks. It is not wage economy. So if it is not wage economy, it does not come with the benefits of wage economy.
Like labor laws.
Yeah, labor laws are lacking here. Then, so when you are in a wage employment, you get other benefits also like gratuity or insurance, a lot of other things. So that lacks for the gig economy people because they are not in a wage employment, so they do not get the extra benefits associated with it. Labor rights, labor safety, and their social security kind of becomes an issue. For example, labor security, if we are talking about safety and security. So, if there is a woman cab driver for working for Uber or Ola, their safety is also a concern. Like we definitely talk about user safety, but the people who are in those jobs, their safety is also a concern. So that's why gig economy, ethical issues, we have labor safety as a concern. Do we have ethical issues with the quick commerce also? 10 minutes delivery or you do not get the delivery payment. That's an ethical issue for the delivery person at least. Exactly. They have to, their safety is compromised. They are jumping traffic rules and everything. All for what? 10 minutes delivery. Or, you know, like basically time constraints and all those things. So, ethical issues with respect to labor. Yes. So I think you more or less understand the ethical issues involved in gig economy. Anything else you can think of? There's no as such social security. Social security is again insurance and health benefits, rental benefits, no DA, HA, house allowance or travel allowance, none of those things. So lack of social security. Okay. There's another advancement in science and technology. Self-drive cars or driverless cars, right? Tesla. What are the ethical issues involved? Okay, anything else?
Or technical mistake will be the accident because
हाँ. So, चलो ठीक है. I'll give you this. Tell me this कि let's say this self-drive car is going on a road and some person is standing here. For whatever reason, accident हो जाता है. Will you bring to court the owner of this car, the builder of this car, as in the company, or the person who bought the car? Or you will not bring in anyone because, or you bring in the rider of the car? Who to accuse? If some mishap happens, who to accuse? But it is an ethical issue. It is your dilemma. Why, when you are making the legal work for introducing self-drive cars, you have to answer this problem. So that's why it becomes an ethical issue. Okay? So now we have discussed these cases, right? Now let's come back to some theory part of it. Let us discuss moral absolutism and moral relativism. what can you make from these terms? What do we absolute हम किसी चीज़ को तब कहते हैं which you know it is sorry not exactly rigid but yeah something that is consistent across things, you know, across context also, something that is affirmative कि यही है, absolutely यही है, right? अगर for just to understand absolute, what is absolute liberty? And do we have it in India?
complete liberty.
We don't have absolute liberty in India. Why?
It's not practical. Reasonable restriction place कर सकते हैं for the welfare of
Right.
society.
Again, so absolute liberty का मतलब है कि भाई you don't have any restrictions at all. There are no second considerations. Everyone is free to do whatever they want to do. But can a society survive like this? That's why we do not have absolute liberty. We have restricted liberty. Anyway, this was just to explain the word as absolute to you. Absolute का मतलब होता है कि something that is affirmative, it is independent of other determinants. Across culture, context, time, it is neutral. So, जब हम moral absolutism की बात करते हैं, तो these are moral principles that are constant across determinants like sthan, kal, patra. Okay, so that's why we call them absolute moral principles. Why is that so? Because certain actions are inherently right or wrong. This is actually Immanuel Kant's philosophy. We'll discuss it in detail, but just mentioning here. Again, moral absolutism is rigid because it is less flexible. It is constant, right? So, rigid. It lends support to religion. Why? Because religion के अंदर भी some basic principles are constant across times and you know like societies. So that's why moral absolutism is supporting religion. It supports a strong state. Because obviously it will help central authority, right? The lesser contradiction, better it is. So what are actually the challenges with respect to moral absolutism?
Strong state is a subpart of it.
No, it's lending support to strong state. मतलब you can write another point for it. Okay.
As far as certain actions are inherently right or wrong.
Yeah. So absolutism, some actions are inherently right or wrong का मतलब ये हुआ कि consider again honesty across societies, across time we consider honesty to be a good thing, right? So it becomes a moral principle which is close to absolute, right? Like garbage, नहीं फेंकना है कचरा. It's a moral principle which is absolute, irrespective of your time or your place, wherever you are. If you are throwing something anywhere, it will be considered wrong. That means inherently right or wrong. ओके, challenges क्या है? In moral absolutism there is no scope of revision. Since we are not, since it is constant and it is rigid, there is no scope of revision. So it becomes a challenge. And sometimes even entire societies are known to be wrong about certain things. For example, sati. Right? Maybe sati in the 16th, 17th century was morally absolute, that yes, this moral principle is what it is supposed to be. But the entire society turned out to be wrong. That's why it becomes a challenge. Right? So now let's discuss moral relativism. So I think it's easily understandable through contrast that relativism will be that morals are changing as per your perspective, as per your context. So in relativism, we consider morals as per the determinants or as per its factors. Okay. It changes basically. Moral principles changes as per factors or determinants. For example, now we have discussed it multiple times, mostly things related to sthan, kal, patra, again like sati, untouchability, child marriage, child education, all of those things you can mention over here. The swadharm sadharan dharm thing we studied also comes under moral relativism, because relatively something becomes ethical in one aspect and it becomes, some other thing becomes ethically wrong in another aspect, right? The thing we discussed about the administrator trying to vacate a land for a building, right? Moral relativism. Now what can be the criticisms for moral relativism? Self-contradictory. At times it contradicts itself. How does it contradict itself? We are saying in this philosophy of moral relativism that all moral principles are relative. We are saying this statement, right? That all moral principles are relative. Then how can this be absolute? How can we say this is absolute then? If your philosophy is about relativism, then how can you say this is absolute? So it is self-contradictory. The philosophy of moral relativism is self-contradictory. This is a criticism of it. We are discussing criticisms, okay? Okay, ये statement समझ में आया? All moral principles are relative? नहीं? Moral relativism का concept ये है कि जो हमारे moral principles हैं, they can change with respect to what? Place, time, person or any other factor. Basically वो relative है, आपके perception पे depend करते हैं, तो they are changing. That means all moral principles are relative. किस context में हम बात कर रहे हैं, हम moral principle तभी judge करेंगे. तो फिर ये कैसे absolute है? ये statement देना ही तो आप absolute sense में दे रहे हो सकता है किसी context के अंदर all moral principles are relative is true, but किसी और context के अंदर all moral principles are not relative. तो फिर ये absolute statement देना गलत हो जाएगा. बस वही आइडिया है बेसिक सा, ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस नहीं करना अपन को इस चीज़ पे. अच्छा, because we are talking about moral relativism, so it allows bypassing of some ethics. For example, killing of a person. We know killing is wrong. But what about killing a terrorist who has done a bomb attack or something? Is that right? Or is it still wrong? आप कह रहे हो बट हो सकता है कोई तो कह रहा है कि नहीं, killing is absolutely wrong. Right? थोड़ा criticism हो गया कि it allows bypassing. जैसे you said it is right. So you kind of bypassed the absolute principle that killing is wrong. So it allows bypassing. That's why moral relativism. It also then allows tolerance of inhuman practices. Inhumane practices. क्योंकि हम morals principles को relative कर देते हैं ना, तो we can justify some inhuman practices. For example, clinical trials. Clinical trials क्या होते हैं कि मार्केट में कोई भी मेडिसिन या कोई भी वैक्सीन आने से पहले, राइट, तो इट कैन बी ऑन ह्यूमंस एंड इट कैन बी ऑन एनिमल्स. तो एनिमल राइट्स ग्रुप वाले कहेंगे कि यार जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ ह्यूमन बेनिफिट टू मेक अ मेडिसिन यू कैन नॉट run trials on so many animals and cause problems to them. Human rights वाले कहेंगे कि you cannot do so on humans. But जो लोग trials करना चाहते हैं medicine वाले कहेंगे कि this is to save the larger society. अगर हम select group पे vaccines test कर लेंगे तो हम larger society में ये vaccine या तो introduce कर पाएंगे या नहीं करेंगे. But हमें पता तो चलेगा कि ये effective है या नहीं. तो फिर आप किसकी सुनोगे? एथिकल इशू, एथिकल रिलेटिविज्म. दैट्स वाई. तो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर अब क्या होता है यूजुअली, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स आर टॉलरेटेड और दे आर एक्सेप्टेबल लार्जली विद सम बेसिक राइट्स. सो डज इट टॉलरेट इन ह्यूमन प्रैक्टिसेस? तो इट इज क्रिएटिंग अ बाईपास फॉर अस, मॉरल रिलेटिविज्म. Right. मॉरल रिलेटिविज्म के अंदर एक और चीज आती है. Can I remove this? Okay. So, have you heard about the Jain doctrine of Anikantvad? Anikantvad is nothing but manyness of reality. Like they are saying there is no one true reality, but many versions of it. So manyness. That means कि you cannot unidirectionally approach something. Similarly with moral principles, that you cannot unidirectionally approach moral principles, or there is no black and white. There is grey area, and that is why Anikantvad, Jain doctrine of Anikantvad, right? What else? Do we have some other things if we can derive from our religious texts or something? Anything? Have you heard the phrase or the term ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti? Have you heard of it? So this is a phrase from the Rig Veda, which means Manyness of reality. There is no one version, but multiple. Again, this is also the core of Sanatan Dharma, right? That is also an Indian way of life. We are inherently tolerant people. We appreciate and we practice tolerance in our day-to-day life. That's why this is also our Indian way of life. So for us, so all of this kind of implies things are not black and white. There is gray zone, there is gray arguments, and you have to understand all the dimensions. Right? That's why in moral relativism. Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. If spelling, it is S-A-T, Sat. Manyness of reality.
मैंने सब रियलिटी का एग्जांपल क्या है?
अब अगर रियल एग्जाम्पल सोचे, सी आपने हिस्ट्री में वो पढ़ा होगा भक्ति मूवमेंट के अंदर आई एम द टर्म इज स्लिपिंग माई माइंड, वन सेकेंड. ओके आप इसको ऐसे समझो, मैनीनेस ऑफ रियलिटी का मतलब है जैसे वी हैव मल्टीपल रिलीजन्स, राइट, बट ऑल ऑफ मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर लाइक कि दे लीडिंग टू द सेम पाथ. योर पाथ कैन बी डिफरेंट बट योर अल्टीमेट गोल इज द सेम, right, to achieve a higher state of mind or to free yourself from desires. Buddhism talks about freeing yourself from desires, nirvana. In Jainism we have kaivalya, again achieving that higher state of mind, that state of rest and bliss. So trying to achieve the same thing, but there are many paths to it. That's why manyness of reality. Anekantvad. Something can be achieved through many ways and something can be looked at from a lot of perspectives. For example, the self-drive cars example we were discussing, right? Someone can look at it from one angle, ki owner should be blamed. Someone can look ki company can be blamed. That's why. Manyness of reality is basically. Okay. But having discussed this moral absolutism and moral relativism, how will we conclude? How will we conclude this thing? We have discussed two contrasting things. How can we conclude it? Again, middle path, Madhyam Marg we are going to use, right? What in Madhyam Marg? See, some laws should be eternal, right? Then only we'll have social continuity. We will have harmony in society. Only when some laws are eternal or some laws are absolute. So that's why here in this case our Madhyam Marg will be some laws are eternal, some laws should change with time. Laws or ethics, whatever you can, say. Why change with time? Changing with time is important for social progress. And what was the other thing I said? Eternal. Some laws or some ethics should be eternal. Why? To ensure continuity in society and to ensure peace and harmony. For example, love, truth, these are desired virtues. Courage also. But you can also put courage in relativism. Why? Courage in road rash or courage on the border? What is desirable? Exactly. That's why relativism is also there. See? So some ethics will be eternal ethics which we want for continuation of society, but we also want some ethics, like we want acceptance to change. We want critical thinking. Why? For social progress, for science and tech. So this is how we are going to conclude this argument, that our Madhyam Marg lies in balancing the two. Okay, can we move on from this? Yeah. So now let us discuss ethics versus politics. When we began the class, we saw a PYQ based on ethics and politics, right? It was talking about can they go hand in hand or not. So, commonly held belief is that politics cannot be ethical. Is it right? Mostly यही मानते हैं सब कि politics के अंदर तो ethics होना possible नहीं है. But is it the case? Is it truly the case? Do you believe so?
No.
Why?
There are many ethical decisions that are taken
Okay.
for social upliftment,
किसी इंडिविजुअल इंटरेस्ट को कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके लार्जर ग्रुप इंटरेस्ट का वेलफेयर हो रहा था.
land reforms, for example.
Okay. ठीक है, no problems. So, पॉलिटिक्स क्या होता है पहले मेरे को ये बताओगे? अगर हम कुछ पढ़ रहे हैं तो हमें उनके डेफिनेशंस पता होने चाहिए. पॉलिटिक्स क्या होता है?
Getting the work done,
सॉरी.
getting the work done by any means.
Okay, but मतलब kind of you want power to get that work done, right? Okay, so write down the definition of politics. It is the range of activities undertaken with the purpose of capturing power. Range of activities undertaken with the purpose of capturing power to write the rules that govern us. That govern us. Yeah, basically. Right? So do you understand this thing? Basically, politics is nothing but it's the activities we are doing to capture power. And why do we want power? Because we want to change the rules that are governing us. Basic idea of politics. So, is it possible to be ethical in politics or not? Let's see. So, the commonly held belief is that ethics and politics are two tracks of the rail which never meet. Rail tracks never meet, right? So politics and ethics are also like rail tracks who are never going to meet. That is the commonly held belief. No, but train tracks तो ऐसे ही चलते हैं ना. Parallel lines will never meet. Commonly held belief do not align. Politics and ethics do not align. Why? Because running the affairs of the state, contesting elections, defeating your opponent, and all of this kind of requires measures which are outside of the ethical measures of society. That is the commonly held belief, right? Because we are running for elections, we have to win. The opponent has to lose. So कभी कभार हम लोग कुछ ऐसी एक्टिविटीज़ या कुछ ऐसे तरीके भी अपनाते हैं जो मे बी एथिकल नहीं होंगे. कौटिल्य ने कहा साम दाम दंड भेद. सॉरी, ओके. सो साम दाम दंड भेद क्या है इसका मतलब? बाय हुक और क्रुक पावर चाहिए. कौटिल्य सेड दैट. तो डज दैट जस्टिफाई कि हमारा बिलीफ जो है कि एथिक्स नहीं है पॉलिटिक्स में, राइट? सो यू कैन मेंशन कौटिल्य सेड साम दाम दंड भेद. ओके, हाँ, 100%, absolutely, no problem. If you want, you can bracket में mention what the English version of these, English meaning of these words are, right? So, basically, power at any cost, even if it is through unethical means. Another person, this is, let's say, an Indian philosopher, Machiavelli in the West, also talked about realpolitik. What is this? Again, same thing. Power must be pursued at any cost, even through unethical means. So both of these people professed the same ideology. Sorry, हाँ, K ही है, realpolitik. Power must be pursued at any cost, even through unethical means. realpolitik का मतलब यही है, real इसको हम इसलिए कह रहे हैं क्योंकि एक होता है आइडियल वर्ल्ड, एक होता है रियलिटी. आइडियल वर्ल्ड के अंदर आप कह सकते हो कि यस हमें एथिकल होना चाहिए एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा, बट रियलिटी ये है कि यार पावर लेने के लिए, ओपोनेंट को डिफीट करने के लिए ये सब की जरूरत, मतलब हमें अनएथिकल होना पड़ता है. साम दाम दंड भेद, राइट? बट ये आंसर नहीं है. ठीक है? सो दिस इज what you have explored one dimension where you are saying yes, politics cannot have ethics or politics does not align with ethics. This is one dimension of your answer. Yes, now you are going to say why this is wrong and ethics is an integral part of politics, and that should be your belief also. So then next you can write that however, to say that ethics and politics do not align with each other is a narrow viewpoint. If we do not have ethics in politics, a lot can go wrong and will go wrong. So let us discuss some examples where we see that ethics in politics is present and should be present. Okay. You would have heard about Alexander. What was his aim? He wanted to rule throughout the world. especially, right, Alexander. But was he able to rule in India? No, right? Did Ashoka rule the entire India and a lot of land? He was a great ruler, but Alexander used unethical means. Ashoka used ethical emissaries or Sangamitras. Ashoka followed Dhamma. He was a pacifist ruler. So he was able to attain what Alexander could not. How? Through being ethical. Dhamma ki policy. Dhamma is righteousness. And it comes through a Buddhist philosophy, Dhamma, of righteousness, doing the right thing. तो कैसे वो उन greatest बने? Through ethical means, through Sangamitras, through the Buddhist doctrine. They used to send ethical emissaries to talk with the other kingdom that join this kingdom and live peacefully, etc., etc. Right? So that way, there was no essential war happening. The only war, the war after Ashoka changed was the Kalinga war. You should know that. Before Kalinga, yes, Ashoka was an aggressive ruler, but post the Kalinga war, he became pacifist ruler, and that changed him and changed his approach towards ruling. And that's why he is one of the ethical rulers we have had. Okay?
पहले तो मुझे अनएथिकली थे, बाद में फिर
हाँ, कह सकते हो. But he achieved greatness because of this. That is the idea. Right? Another example that we can have is of Gandhi. In the 20th century, he single-handedly fought the Britishers, right? And through what? His moral ideas of Satya and Ahimsa. Nothing unethical there. He achieved what he wanted to achieve through ethical means. Write down. Second Gandhi. Next example is that of Lal Bahadur Shastri. तो शास्त्री जी ने रेलवे मिनिस्ट्री से रिज़ाइन किया था अपने टाइम पे क्योंकि एक रेलवे एक्सीडेंट, एक ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट हो गया था एंड ही टुक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर दैट एक्सीडेंट एंड रिजाइंड फ्रॉम द मिनिस्ट्री. He later went on to become the Prime Minister of India. So ethical choices, ethical actions do reward in politics. It is not that politics is devoid of ethics. We can see from these examples. Okay? I hope you understand. कुछ doubt है, कुछ clarity चाहिए तो आप बता सकते हो. Okay, write down this line. Aristotle considered ethics as a sub-branch of politics. Aristotle considered ethics as a sub-branch of politics. Ethics can be and must be sustained in politics through electoral reforms, you're writing, enlightened citizenry, tools of accountability. Now, why do we say this? How through electoral reforms? If we have free and fair elections, right, then people need not use unethical means to win elections. People need not give cash benefits to gain votes. Electoral reforms. If we have, why do we have a limit on expenditure for this? Because if we do not limit the expenditure of candidates contesting elections, then they can use the raw power of money to gain votes, right? That's why electoral reforms are necessary for ethical aspects of politics. Then why enlightened citizenry? Because only when citizens are aware that yes, ethics is possible in politics, can we have, ethics in politics. Because before we started this discussion, or when we started this discussion, did all of us assume or did we believe that yes, ethics is not possible in politics? We started with that, but we saw that no, there are examples that ethics can align with politics and it should align with politics. So it changed our beliefs, it raised awareness. That's why enlightened citizenry. So you are now enlightened citizenry. That's why you will bring ethics in politics. Tools of accountability. Why do we need tools of accountability to ensure ethics in politics? कैसे पता करते हैं अपन करप्शन? क्या आरटीआई अपना एक टूल है? राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन, इट इज अ टूल फॉर अकाउंटेबिलिटी. सिटीजन्स चार्टर. सिटीजन्स चार्टर आपको आइडिया है क्या होता है? रफ आइडिया है? नहीं है? ओके, मैं ब्रीफली बताती हूँ. सिटीजन्स चार्टर एक बेसिकली एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट होता है गवर्नमेंट का जिसके अंदर ये लिखा होता है कि व्हाट सिटीजन्स शुड एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम दैट गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट. इफ़ इट इज़ अ सर्विस डिपार्टमेंट तो उसके अंदर ये लिखा होगा कि क्या सर्विसेज आप उस डिपार्टमेंट से एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल टेलीकॉम की बात कर रहे हैं तो उसमें लिखा होगा कि ये बेसिक सर्विस डिलीवरी आपको एक्सपेक्ट करनी है एज सिटीजन्स, या ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल कहाँ पे हो सकता है. ऑल ऑफ दिस कम्स अंडर सिटीजन्स चार्टर. तो वाई सिटीजन्स चार्टर helps in accountability is because if there is a citizens charter, I as a citizen know what I should be expecting from my government or what level of service delivery I should be receiving. Then I can hold them accountable that you are not giving me this. Right? So that's why tools of accountability, they help in bringing ethics in politics. So that's why ethics and politics are not separate and they cannot be separate. Why? Because see, ethics is a part of our regular life. Even in our society, we have to be ethical and we work ethically to a certain degree. And politics is nothing but derived from society, right? So it will be a part of ethics. It's about how much it is being followed or it is pursued. Gandhiji's, one of the Gandhiji's 7 sins. Seven sins is politics without principle. So you can use this as a conclusion very easily, that one of Gandhiji's 7 sins is politics without principle, and thus segregating ethics and politics is neither possible nor desirable. Write down a line. Constitutional morality, ethical interpretation of constitutional silence, strong institutions, and robust legal and ethical framework. ethical interpretation of constitutional silence. Strong institutions So constitutional morality, ethical interpretation of constitutional silence, strong institutions, and robust legal and ethical framework. Robust legal and ethical framework act as the biggest checks against politics running counter to ethics. Biggest checks against politics running counter to ethics. Okay, let's quickly understand the terms. Constitutional morality. What is constitutional morality? आप सबने पॉलिटी पढ़ी होगी अभी तक.
The moral values contained in the constitution.
Yeah, and following them, right. So we have some values in our constitution which we consider our constitutional values. We have also discussed it in the class up till now, like equality, fraternity, justice, all those. Constitutional morality is basically we should align ourselves to the constitutional values, right? So that along with ethical interpretation of constitutional silence. Now what is this? Constitutional silence क्या चीज़ है? कुछ aspects ऐसे हैं जिसमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने कुछ लिखा नहीं गया है या कुछ बोला नहीं है, तो उस चीज़ को, उस लूप होल को अगर अपन मिसयूज करेंगे तो इट विल बी अनएथिकल. दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड एथिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ दैट साइलेंस इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, बिकॉज इफ यू आर नॉट इंटरप्रेटिंग इट एथिकली देन यू आर डूइंग अनएथिकल पॉलिटिक्स. Next, strong institutions. What are strong institutions? There is a book, Why Nations Fail. If you have been in touch with the newspapers recently, पिछले कुछ टाइम में editorials के अंदर इसका mention हुआ है काफ़ी बार. Why Nations Fail. अभी ये Nobel Prize भी दिया गया है economics में इसी चीज़ के ऊपर. Why nations fail? Nations fail because of lack of strong institutions. Weak institutions are those which have a lot of corruption, which are not running with legal remedies, or they are not bound by rules and regulations. Those are weak institutions, and they lead to the failure of nations. What we need is strong institutions. Strong institutions basically means no corruption and defined rules and regulations, speedy work, all of those things, right? Robust legal and ethical framework. Again, same thing. If you have your laws clearly defined, your legality clear to the public, codified, if it is strong and it is implemented also strongly, if you have a strong judiciary, if justice is being delivered, then it becomes difficult for politics to run counter to ethics. So these kind of, all of this comes in your conclusion part kind of, where you are suggesting what measures should be there in order to have ethics in politics, right? Any issues over here? Any thing you did not understand? You want me to explain again? I think we have understood ethics versus politics, and our conclusion is that ethics should be and ethics is and should be a part of politics, right?
मैम ये 4 क्या है?
ये मतलब these are your, you can say that these are kind of your measures to ensure there is ethics in politics. Checks against politics running counter to ethics, basically. Okay. So I think we're going to wrap up today's class now. And just a quick overview of whatever we discussed today. Started off with ethics syllabus PYQs. We saw keyword-based questions, opinion-based questions, quote-based questions, and examples in your own life-based questions. 4 types of questions primarily are asked in UPSC. Then we understood some concepts like dharma, ethics and morality we discussed. We understood their difference, their similarities. We understood what happens when they are reinforcing each other. We saw how, what happens if they are in conflict. Then we discussed dilemma and ethical dilemma. We saw related examples. Then we came on to ethics and human interface. We saw the approaches: descriptive ethics, normative ethics, applied ethics. Then we came to sources of ethics. We discussed God and religion, intuition, reason, law, polity, constitution, society, all of these sources. Then we came to determinants of ethics, sthan, kal, patra. That is what we discussed. Then we discussed cases. We discussed 4 cases of advances in science and technology. First was social media related ethical issues. Then e-commerce related ethical issues. Yeah, in which we discussed business ethics and environmental ethics. Then we discussed self-drive cars. We discussed gig economy, right? All the ethical issues related to these. Then we discussed why should we study ethics? How is it helpful or it is not helpful? Then we discussed, is it possible to be ethical without studying ethics, right? Then we discussed moral absolutism versus moral relativism. We saw that we concluded with Madhyam Marg. We saw the Jain doctrine of Anekantvad. So, and then finally we did ethics and politics, where we saw Kautilya, Machiavelli, Ashoka, Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri, all of these people. And then we saw some measures, and we saw Aristotle saying that how ethical electoral reforms, tools of accountability and enlightened citizenry can lead to ethics in politics, right? So that's it for the class today. Yeah. हाँ. अभी वो अन्ना हजारे आंदोलन जो हुआ था, उसके बाद we got a लोकपाल, right? How is it helping ethics in politics? Because now we have a check against corruption, legal, ethical framework, right? समझ में आ गया? Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. Good day. See you in the next class.